if I had my son second, but I'm still feeling a little like kind of all over the place, but I wanted to share with you something that works for me, and kind of give you an idea of how I go about creating groups and, where I get my ideas from and so forth. But before we even start that, I just want to go over a couple housekeeping things. First and foremost, I'm not sure if you saw the video from Julie. Oh, I should press record. Scott, are you the host?
Yeah, I've got it recording.
Okay, cool. I'm not sure if you saw the video from Julie and Tatiana. It's in the Synergy group. If you could watch that, it's really important. It's about our team, our amazing team, and getting to elite. I'm not sure if I can mute. Scott, do you have that power?
Yeah, let me.
You have all the superpowers tonight, Scott. So yeah. They said in the video, get our team to elite because.
Can you go ahead and unmute yourself when I mute everybody?
Sure.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, it's important to watch that video because as a team, I won't go through the whole video because I know you'll watch it, but we are going for elite. Tatiana and Julie are aiming for elite, which helps our entire team. And so what that means is to make sure that you're active, which is pretty easy this month. I'm going to talk a little bit about Hammer and Chisel for a couple minutes. And so just make sure you're active. Be checking in your online office to make sure that if you're Emerald, you're not dropping rank. All of these things are super important. And you're going to want to learn this for when you build your teams because you're going to be doing the same thing with them. It's a team effort, and we're all here to support, and we want to cheer Tatiana and Julie on and get them to elite because they earned it, they deserve it. And the more that we can do what we can to make our businesses flowing or just being active or on HD or whatever you have to do, definitely do it because it's going to pay off for all of us. And Hammer and Chisel. Who got Hammer and Chisel today? Anybody? Yeah, I'm so excited for it. Well, obviously that is the new program that just launched. And if you don't know anything about it, there is in Pure Synergy, Julie put a whole document that you can check out all the information. It's really good. Go through it. Go to your FAQ in the online office and just get yourself familiar with it. I know that it's kind of scary to some of you when you're looking at it and you're like, that is so not me. If I could share a quick story, last year when Insanity Max came out, Insanity Max 30, I totally dropped the ball. I heard the word insanity and I was like, that's just not me. That's too intense. I'm not doing it. And that was the mindset I went into. And then when it launched, I listened to a video by Amy Silverman, and she kind of put everybody in their place, which I needed. She was like, if you did not launch that program, you are missing out. And she was like, she just explained how you want to go with what's happening and what's going on. Even if it scares you, try it. And because you don't like it doesn't mean your customers won't like it, your clients won't like it. So I encourage you, if you are scared by it, trust me, I was there with Insanity Max 30. Go out on a limb. Try it. I ended up loving Insanity Max 30, which I never, ever, ever thought I would. And had I not done that, if I didn't push the boundaries and I didn't listen to my coaches and to Amy Silverman, I would have never tried that program. So again, if you feel like that's like totally not you, just have faith in it. It's going to be an awesome program. It's going to be one of those game changers for your business. And ultimately, that's why we're all here. We want to help people and we want to inspire people and support our families. So if you do have any questions about that, put it in the Pure Synergy group, ask your coach, ask myself. But I am super, super psyched about this program. This is going to be my comeback program after baby, because let me tell you, I need a lot of work. So, okay, so we're going to get started. I have notes. I'm a note taker. So what I want you to do right now for me is think about something that you are struggling with your fitness and health, or that you constantly get your clients asking you about some sort of struggle they're having with their fitness and health. And I want you to pop that into the chat. Does anybody have anything that they're like struggling with? I'll tell you mine if no one has anything. Meal planning, awesome. Meal plans, cravings, consistency, carbs, pushing play since Thanksgiving. Always asking what you eat, what you eat. Okay, now be aware of what you are struggling with and what your clients are asking you. Time, okay? Because this is exactly how I create my next free groups. I know some of you have done my salad a day challenge. That was that was really successful for me, but it was because of, honestly, my struggle. So basically how I create my groups are by whatever I'm struggling with. And I pretty much teach myself. And then the best way I learn and apply is by teaching others. So that's kind of how I start with my free groups. So let me just get my notes here. Where'd they go? So basically, the best way, honestly, to kind of do a group is to not necessarily take someone else's content and use it, because I feel like when I do that, and that might not be what you do, but I feel like my passion isn't there, and then I'm not as confident. So the benefits of, let me just go back to the benefits of doing a free group for the new people on the call. And when I first started, I was like, free group? What do you mean? Like, come on, really? Like, I really am going to do this and invite people? I totally didn't. I missed what was important about it. But the benefits are, it gives people an opportunity to know you. It gives people an opportunity to like and trust you. It gives them value, and you develop quality relationships. So when it does come time that you're going to invite people, you've built that list, and it doesn't feel so icky when you say, hey, I'm running a free group and I thought of you. Do you want to try this next step? Honestly, that's how I invite. I don't ever do any cold inviting, and a lot of the times people come to me because I'm attracting them and I'm giving that value. So that's why you would want to do a free group. The benefits of creating your own content, like I said, is it's a little different than taking someone else's content and using it, in my opinion. And my background is in teaching, but it gives you confidence. So that's why I say, like, I did the salad a day challenge. I was like, I got this. I'm confident because I taught myself everything. So I went out there and I'm like, you're missing out if you're not in this group. And you kind of want that mindset with your groups. Like, you're missing out. And the only way to do that is if you're creating and you're taking that leadership role and owning it. Own your groups. Own the content. You have more skin in the game. You know, like when I do my groups, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I created this. I better get people in there because I worked hard on it. And I know they need to know this information. And it leads to more inviting for you. It will lead, because you have that confidence with it. You'll be more involved in the groups. I mean, how many people have been in a clean eating group where they're like, all right, this is kind of lame. No one's participating. I don't even really want to be in here anymore. I mean, I'm sure we've all had groups like that. So you're going to have more success. You're going to have more failure. I will tell you, like I had success with the salad a day. I did a hydration challenge that was through the roof. But between all those little successes, I had lots of failure groups, lots of flops. But that leads to success. So you're just going to you're going to get stronger. You're going to feel more pride for your work. And honestly, the content is king. And so I'm going to talk about what you can do now with that content that you've created. So you've shared what you struggle with or your clients have struggled with. Now you have a starting off point. For the new year, I want you to start thinking, okay, think ahead. What can I do for a free group for January? What can I do for February? Maybe you want to get your first quarter started so you have something. And remember, the content is king. So Shailene Johnson did a podcast, I don't know when, like maybe last week, which was so interesting because I had done a Periscope maybe like a month ago, 2 months ago, and then I finally had someone transcribe it. I made it into a blog post. And then you can also, she talked about how you can do a video or do a Periscope on something. Then you can either yourself transcribe it or have someone transcribe it, like Fiverr, Fiverr.com. You can pay someone $5 to transcribe it. You can put it into a blog post. You can make it into a social media post. Then from there, you can take that content and you can take little snippets and make posts on that, all from this content that you're creating for your free groups or for your videos or whatever. So you can repurpose it all around. And that's exactly what I do with my free groups that I made in the past. I'll take little snippets, I'll pop them in my niche group. Like I have my target market is women preparing for pregnancy, bump and beyond, I call it. But I take that same stuff that I taught in my free groups, and guess what my content is that I put in there. So I'm always repurposing it and reusing it so that I don't have to reinvent the wheel. And what I'll end up doing is using it every month. Like next year, I'll do the same thing for the same month and continue on, kind of like a lesson plan if anybody is a teacher on here. Like the curriculum for the month, the theme for the month, that's kind of how my brain works. So I did for Thanksgiving, or for November, I did a gratitude challenge. It was the content was good. Did I do a great job inviting? Not so much, but I know better for the next time. But I read the book called The Go-Giver. And if you haven't read that book, it's awesome. Write it down, The Go-Giver. And that really made me realize that I need to be, I was weak in giving. I wanted to give more. So that inspired my gratitude challenge. For December, I kind of am just going in more like for fitness. So I'm doing a free family fitness frenzy, it's called. And I am just, this one I'm kind of low-keying it because it's the holidays. So if they want, they can get a free Beachbody On Demand trial for the 30 days. And I'm going to post all the things I get asked. How did you get your husband on board? I get that constantly. How do you do meal plans? Constantly. What are some on-the-go recipes? So I'm popping all of those things in there for content. So those are just things you can be staying aware of and being like, I could create a group on this because people want it. And then they're going to be attracted to that. You can make your content into a free gift that you send eventually. So like, for example, I'm a guest speaker for, again, my target market is women preparing for pregnancy. So I am a guest speaker in an IVF group, and I'm creating something every day that is going to help them get healthy pre-pregnancy. So I'm taking all that information and I'm going to make it into an opt-in. And I'm probably going to actually make it into a free group challenge as well. So just realize that the hard work you do put in for your groups will spread and trickle if you want it to. What else do I have? Like I said, make it into gifts. If you do have a group that you run that is your ongoing fitness and support group, or I know a lot of you guys have groups that are for your niche, you can be offering them free gifts and bonuses in there as well from all the content you've made. So I kind of want to share does anybody have any questions actually before I go on? You might have to put it in the chat. Oh, Kimberly said she got the Virtual Business Academy. Oh my gosh, I want to get that really bad. You're going to have to let us know how that is. And Tatiana too. Yep, that podcast was awesome. I'm sorry, I'm going through the comments. What's my name on Periscope? At Healthy Revenge. That's my business name. No questions. Yep. So on Periscope, I mean, like, you have to find your strong points too. Where are you most comfortable? Don't be everywhere. Don't feel. I just had this conversation with one of the coaches today. Put your blinders on. And I'm going off topic here, but you don't have to be everywhere. That's kind of what I'm trying to say with these groups. Use what you're making. Feel confident. Use your health and wellness to empower you, and then it will ripple, and you don't have to be doing all these bells and whistles everywhere else. So basically, okay, so for January, I'm going back to a struggle. Like I told you to find a struggle. I am a person who always says, I want to do a vision board. I want to put my goals down and I'm going to do something with my vision board, and I never do it. So guess what my free group is, hopefully, what I want to do for January. I want to do a vision board challenge, and I have nothing planned. My best suggestion to you is to launch it before you're ready, because then you can't turn back. That's what I do. I launch it before I'm ready, and then I'm like, okay, I need to do it now. I put it out there. So I'm going out there and I'm asking people in some of my groups I'm in, hey, is anybody an expert on vision boards? Do you want to be a guest speaker in this group? I'm going to try to get some guest speakers. If you're in groups, ask for guest speakers. Make it creative, make it fun. That's a great way to get stuff done. Yep, and avoiding. So plan it out. So the idea of a vision board, if anybody wants to do this with me or create content, what I do is I think of the idea, and then I'm like, all right, well, what would you need? What would the resources be? And then I divide it into the days. So I found that 5 days is enough. You get to 7 days and it's kind of So 5 topics per day. So maybe the first topic would be, okay, what would be the point of a vision board? So break it down into 5 topics. Super easy. Step away, come back another day. All right, let's do some research and find out where the resources are that they can get these vision boards. Can you make a Pinterest vision board? And like I said, I haven't done any research on this yet, but so break it down into your days, and then from there, take it a step further and give them resources. It doesn't have to be all you. It doesn't have to be all your resources. For example, sharing Shailene Johnson's podcast, I would share that, vision board apps. So you can have a day where you talk about the apps that you can use to create your vision board. Maybe the last day is where everybody has to share out their vision board. And I found that the simpler you can make your groups, and the more interaction you just literally have just being you, they're not going to know if you flop. They're not going to know if you made a mistake, most likely, or if you missed a day or whatever. They just want to know not what you know, but that you care about them. So again, it's the most important thing is that you're creating these relationships. You're breaking down that wall. You're in there, you're being you, you're attracting people to you, and you're having fun. And at the same time, honestly, you guys, you're getting healthier yourself. You're actually improving yourself. And that's seriously how I go about doing it. And I am kind of the type of person, I don't know if it is because of my teaching background, but I'm really trying to encourage my coaches to do the same. Yeah, I will give you some of the content, but sometimes I'm like, no, I want you to try and make your own content and do this on your own, because you're going to own it better. And it's kind of like scaffolding, sending you off to fly. That's kind of my whole mindset with it. And eventually what I'm going to do with all these challenges is create something for that are trying to get pregnant. It's all going to be like an online course. So every time I do something, again, it's building on something else. So I did a hydration challenge. Basically, I did the who, what, when, where, and why. That's all I did. Every day I did something. I gave tips, I gave recipes, I gave ideas. It was super, super simple. But the best thing about that one was they had to check in every day, and they had to tell us how much they drank. We did water bottles, like show your water bottle, who has the coolest water bottle. That one was unbelievable. The response, and people were like, I lost this much weight. Oh my gosh, I never knew this. It was just amazing. And then you feel good. You're like, okay, I helped someone, and it was fun, and they know you now. They're going to connect to you more. So let me see if I covered everything there. Where do you find your information? Okay, so you can find it obviously from books. I'm obsessed with like books and Audible and all that. But sometimes, you guys, the best place to get it is honestly the Beachbody blog. I use that for my resources. Shakeology.com. If you have not been on that blog, oh my God, there's so much great information on there. Another one that I don't have the hard copy, I have the ebook, is Super Life by Darren O'Lean, who is the creator of Shakeology. If you do not have that book, you could create literally a challenge a month just from that book. And you're going to be confident with your health. And so when people come to you and they're like, well, if you feel like you can't invite or you can't share the opportunity, this is just going to grow your confidence with your health, that's number one. Also, I don't know if you get those emails. I think we all get those emails that are like really great tips that Beachbody sends us. I save those. I star them. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a great email for my next challenge. So use what we have right through Beachbody. We have so many resources. Let's see. And then what I do most of the time is I create an event, and then I am sharing research, like value in the event leading up to it, and inviting people, for usually I do a week ahead of time or 5 days ahead of time, and I post pictures in there. I post some of the content because who cares if they see it twice? It doesn't matter. No one's going to call you out on it. I mean, who cares? So, the more value you can give in those events, then they're going to be like, wow, okay, so this does sound like something that could help me. Then definitely after the group, you want to follow up, you want to reach out, ask how they're doing with, for example, the hydration challenge. I could go and be like, how are you doing with your water? What are you struggling with? Give them more value. If they say, oh, I can't get it in, give them an article you read on it. So you're continuing that relationship. So bottom line, go out, find out what you're struggling with. I already know what I'm doing for February too, by the way, because I know one of my weaknesses also is I'm a people pleaser. And I know Tatiana knows this because she's always trying to help me with this. That's a weakness that I got to get under control. So guess what my February challenge is going to be? Self-love. And I'm serious about it because I need to improve it. So I'm going to teach myself, and then I'm going to teach my free group. So after hearing that, does anybody have any inspiration or ideas that they think that they'll try? Again, plan your first quarter at least, so you guys are prepared. And set up your month ahead of time. Everyone, any questions? Okay. Living healthier. Yep. So you could totally, like, I'm thinking to myself, you could honestly totally do a what does Jessica eat group? I mean, seriously. And oh, I forgot to tell you this too. I do all my free groups right in my ongoing fitness group. Gone are the days of me making my own groups all over the place. Everything is housed right in my ongoing group. So I'm not like making all these groups everywhere. So everybody who's in there always gets the bonuses, always gets free challenges. Organized, yes, I will be in that group. I need you. That will probably be like a spring something for me because I need help with clutter in my life. Yes, you are. Maybe I can have you as a guest speaker, Jessica, in my group. I would love that. But use the resources we have right here in our team. Ask for guest speakers right here. You know, honestly, like I know a lot of people do money challenges. I haven't seen them in a while, but I know Tara Carr, I think, did. Was it Tara Carr who used to do money ones or budget ones? You know, get resources right from our own team to come and talk or share a PDF or anything like that. I know Tiffany Bastion, she would be a great one to talk to. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you about the free groups. I'm really big into that's how, you know, creating your own stuff, owning what you do, and that will bring more confidence to your business. I promise. And will they all be really, really successful? No, but guess what? Then you'll learn for the next one. And that's how you become successful, by all those little, you know, steps. And there's going to be failures, but that's how you're going to grow your business. So that's all I really wanted to share. If there's no questions.
I do.
Okay.
Because I mean, my biggest problem with all of this is more of getting the information into an organized fashion that I can present. Because it's all up here in my brain and I just do it naturally in my daily life. But like when I sit down at my computer, I sit down at a piece of paper, I'm like, I draw a blank.
Mm-hmm.
And so like most of my posting, like in my challenge groups or even on like Facebook itself, is just off the cuff because I'm like doing something and then I'll be like, oh, I should share about this, you know. But so for me, like with creating content, like how do I hone in on getting it in an organized fashion so that I can create like a free ebook or a group that has actual content that I can use over and over again, or like, you know, when I want to do an opt-in, that's really where I'm struggling.
So I would, and that is, it's because it's overwhelming when you're looking at the big picture. You have to break it down. I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Hopefully I can do this while you guys are on here. Okay, so being organized, which I try to work on in my life. I need to do like a challenge a month on that alone. But what I do is I have my Google Drive and I keep all my folders right in here. So let's go.
It's actually it would be useful if I wasn't.
And then I have a free group. So let's see, free groups.
Talking about doing these.
And then I even put things in here that I've never done yet. So a salad a day, my fitness freebie. I don't even know what did I do with that? Fitness friendly, my gratitude challenge, smoothie challenge, a water challenge. Let me show you with my water challenge. So what I do is I create a document. And then you can make like kind of a grid if you want. I don't think I did with this. Oh, so I wrote down everything. Like I said, all right, create the event. Here's my call to action. And then I kind of start with like what are mostly, you can even ask. Actually, I've done it where I've asked my audience, what are you struggling with when it comes to drinking water? Ask them, you know, to get your topics. Or you might even just find it by your research. Like I'm reading Super Life. I got a ton of my information from Super Life, the book. And then I broke it down into the topics that were in there. And if I use his information, I'm not afraid to say, hey, listen, this is where I got the information. It's not hurting me. It's actually helping when I'm telling them, oh, this is the creator of Shakeology who made this book. So, and then I honestly start with each day, and I'll just put day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And literally this is all empty. And then I go back and I'm like, all right, well, let's figure out what they need to know. What's so important about hydration. So maybe you want to even start with the who, what, when, where to make it easy. Or just think of topics. I mean, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to flow if it's fun. I mean, maybe it doesn't have to flow, but set your big topic from it, but pre-plan it. I would say, well, that's personally my opinion, to pre-plan, then you're not stressing about it. And then as you're doing research, you can then be like putting your pictures in here. So then I'll just save everything I find right in here, and all my like pictures I create, everything just right in here. And then I make a hydration challenge interest, and I put everybody who reaches out. Like, I mean, I had a lot of people for this one who I keep track of really simply. And then I was starting to highlight, and then of course I dropped off of that. I need to follow through with a lot of this stuff, but that's kind of, did I answer that, Jess? I basically start with my topics and then break it down more, and then break it down more. So start with the big, trickle it, and then trickle it more. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry. Please. My desktop is a million times organized. Not all of it. But yeah, so basically I have a call to action to you. Think of what either you're struggling with, like we did in the comments, or what your clients keep asking you about over and over again. And that's going to be what you're going to do your next challenge on. And post it in this event, or post it in the Pure Synergy group, and share what you're going to do with that. And then, like I said, you're going to be like, man, I learned something for myself that I'm going to improve myself with. Then I can teach the other people this. And then I have content for my social media. I have content that I can do YouTube videos on. I have content if you have a blog, a website, and you don't need a website. You do not need a website. You don't need anything to do that. You don't need any bells and whistles. You can just write your whole blog, little nuggets on your social media throughout the weeks, and you have content. So don't make more work for yourself. It's actually going to make your life easier when you create this content. That's the goal of it. That's kind of where I'm getting at with that. So I hope that was helpful. I know we're getting into December where, everything's super, super busy and crazy. But this is just something for you to kind of think about for the new year as you plan out your free groups. And honestly, also, even your challenge groups, your support and fitness groups that they're purchasing a challenge pack for, the more you put skin in the game for that, and the more you create content based on your niche, the more confident you're going to be inviting people. So that is another one of my goals for the new year. I want to make my challenge groups stellar. I am going to put tons of new content in there. And guess what? I'm going to be more confident when I'm like, hey, you have to have Shakeology to be in this group, because you know what? I put time, effort, and money into creating this. So, this is my time. I'm giving you my time, and that's valuable. So you're going to have more confidence all around.
Kelly, I have a question.
Yes.
So this may sound like a stupid question, but
no stupid questions.
I need to get some help on sharing Hammer and Chisel without just throwing it out there into Facebook land. I feel like if I did it, that's how I would be doing. Like, I don't feel confident. I guess because I'm such a 21-day fix person, I don't really know how to go and share this content for today without missing the boat, like you said.
Anybody chime in with this too, who's promoting Hammer and Chisel. What I did to alleviate that, because I didn't want to be kind of doing like Hammer and Chisel posts, but my husband's pretty excited about it too, so he's been tagging me in things. But what I did was I created an event, and I didn't invite. I only invited people that I knew would love this program, so they might have been past challengers. And then for the month of December, when I start talking to people, or if I'm somewhere at a party or whatever, I'm going to be like, hey, do you want me to add you to the event? It's just for information purposes only. That's what I'm telling people. And then I don't feel so bad popping transformation pictures in there and popping like Beachbody pictures in there, because they're like, yeah, I need the information. So that's kind of how I'm going about it for the Hammer and Chisel, and then planting seeds.
So you didn't do anything like as a big post. You just did an event, and you're
little plants of planting seeds here and there. I did on my business page. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more ballsy on my business page than I am on my personal page.
that's how I am on Instagram.
So I mean, do what works for you. I mean, it has to be your personality. Honestly, there's no right answer. Does anybody have a really good suggestion for that? Julie's post today was awesome. I'm like, damn, that was a really good post. So go check hers out.
I'm all about just sprinkling it. Like today I said, I just ordered and I'm doing it.
Yes.
And I always say, you want support when you're doing this, so make sure to reach out to me so they don't go Google. So I
Very
always
good
make sure to say that. I always say, make sure you have support and make sure you reach out to me. I'm not just gonna like post, oh, Hammer and Chisel is so great. No, like I'm constantly making sure they know that they have to come to me for it.
I like that. Make sure you reach out to me, because you're gonna need support. And then you're not necessarily saying, hey, message me. You know, you're kind of saying, make sure you reach out. I like that. Does anybody else have any tips, or who? Okay, here's a question for you. Who has sold a challenge pack for Hammer and Chisel already? Let's celebrate. Anybody? Okay, don't all run and say you have all at once. Come on, someone has to have. No, me neither. Well, let's see who the first one is. Pop it in the group, pop it in the event. But does anybody have any tips on that? I mean, I always check out the people that I love, their pages. Like today I was like, all right, what did Megan Ewaldson do? So I was over on her page today. What did Anita Miron do? What did the Fit Rocker chick? I like her too.
Hey, Kelly.
Yes.
Hey, I was going to say, Jess and I were having a conversation, Jessica Glore, today. Like, I think everybody's super afraid to put Beachbody and like Hammer and Chisel out there. And if you look at the coaches that are successful, they're putting it out there. They're like not afraid to say that they're Beachbody coaches on their personal page. They're not afraid to say, I'm ordering Hammer and Chisel today. So, you know, I mean, I'm all about like kind of not being salesy. But at the same time, I think that a lot of us could use to put it out there and like be loud and proud that Beachbody coaches.
And you know what? I agree, because you're right.
I think I miss out on a lot. Like I had 2 people comment on my Hammer and Chisel post today. They were like, what's this program about? How much does it cost? You know, and that starts conversations.
Right. I know, because it does. I'm not going to lie. I go back and forth. It depends on my mood, I guess. You know, like when you're having down months, you're kind of like, oh man, I don't want to say anything Beachbody related.
Well, and not every day, you know, I mean, you don't want to have 3 like posts back to back about this, but putting it in every couple days, or, you know, people need to know what you do, or they're not going to know that they can come to you for it.
Oh yes. And I'm sure we can all remember
Yeah.
a point where someone went somewhere else. And
Well-
you're not alone when that happens, guys, because it happens to all of us.
Yeah, you can't be secretive about what you're doing or like vague or whatever, because people are just gonna be like, what is she doing?
Right. Check out Anita Miron's post if you haven't. She did a really good post, I thought, personally, today, I think this afternoon.
Mhm.
But that's kind of where I get my ideas. I'm constantly checking like the coaches that I
Yeah.
like, and then
When I
seeing
do that, it always gives me like the confidence to do it on my own page.
Right.
And
you're
you know,
right,
if people
though,
don't
we're
want to
getting
see it, they can unfollow you. You know, if they don't want to look at your hammer and chisel post, well, bye. You know.
Right, and that's where like my self-love group challenge group comes in, because I need to get to that point.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I'm not. I'm like talking all big right now, but
No, it's true, because we all have those little fears, and I need to be like, so
Yeah.
what? You know, if you don't want to do it, fine.
right. Yeah.
Well, and you can also, I mean, you know, we're working out ourselves, and I think for the month of December, you know, it's really important to stay on track for ourselves, you know, because this is a month where you have holiday parties, you have work parties, you have friend parties, you have all these parties, you have all these events, your Christmas shopping, you know, and for us as coaches to stay on track in our own health and fitness journey and to be posting about that and like tips about like how we ourselves are staying on track. Like the people that have been following and watching us, you know, are going to this month or in the new year be like, I'm ready. I want to do this. She talked about the 21-day fix. She talked about hammer and chisel. She talked about, you know, all of this stuff. So I think like if you think about like, you know, being a product of the product, you know, really, you know, honing in on because we are our own advertisements.
Mhm.
We market ourselves. So, you know, us sharing about what we're doing and how that's changing our lives and gaining confidence from that is what people want to see, you know? I mean,
Right.
like, and it's those little like jabs of like, hey, I've been doing the 21-day fix. These were my results. I had such a great time doing it. I feel so great right now. I just ordered hammer and chisel. I am so excited about that. That's a jab, you know? And then another, you know, couple days down the road, it came in the mail. Woo! You know, like showing excitement, being proud, and then, you know, starting to invite people. And inviting is about inviting people into your world. Social media is an intimate view into who we are and what we're doing and why people want to do it with us. You know, I mean, it's not just about health and fitness, but it's about like, for me, I'm vegan. I'm totally into dogs. I have crazy hair like Kristen that I copy. You know, I am all about self-love. I'm all about like just totally kicking ass in life, no matter what comes your way. Like, you know, I share all of those things so that when people are ready, I'm there. Like I had somebody reach out to me last month who was like, I went to the doctor. They told me I was obese. You're my age. And if you can do it, I can do it. And she's been following me for a year. So if I had, over the course of the last year, stopped doing any of how I live my life, I wouldn't be available for her to come to. Does that make sense to you guys?
Oh, it totally does. Yeah.
So do not be afraid to be who you are. Be proud of who you are. You all kick ass. You know?
Yes, you're going to be on my self-love challenge.
Whatever your deal is, man, whatever you're into, if you love knitting scarves for goats, then be proud to knit scarves for goats and just totally rock the shit out of that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
Seriously.
Give a hoo-hoo to Jess. You're right. So this is why I want everybody to like really think of what you love and do. If you like goats and knitting for goats, I want a challenge group out there come January, people. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Here's to goats. No, but really, it's true because your business is you. It's not Beachbody. I tell people all the time, I use the Beachbody programs in my support groups. That's how I word it. I'm a coach. Those programs are the best out there. I use those for my clients. That's what we do. We are our own business. We are us. So the more you can get out there and be you and create these groups and make it all about, attracting your niche, the more success you'll have and the more confidence. And
I just want to say this. If somebody is taking the time out to private message you about you posting too much about Beachbody, you are in their heads. And you should use that to your advantage and be like, hey, you know what? I felt the same way about my coach when I was watching her. But then I kept seeing her be all happy and all do this and all that and blah, 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 blah. And so I decided to try it. And now this is what's happened in my life because you're in their heads and they're watching you. Don't get upset that they're like saying, I really think you're posting about Beachbody too much. And I think you're taking this whole fitness thing over the top. Well, duh, of course I'm taking the fitness thing over the top. It changed my freaking life. You know what I mean? Like, don't let somebody's like doubtfulness of themselves, because that's just a reflection of what they've got going on inside of themselves. Because trust me, if they are taking the time to do that, you got them. It's just a matter of time. Does that make sense?
yeah, it's true because we all worry about that or have had it happen to us,
Yeah.
It's their problem. Really.
And if you need help, just, contact me and I'll give you a good pep talk and it'll be all good anyway.
You rocked us. I love it. Well, I don't want to, does anybody have any other questions? But if you have any, if you need help creating content or coming up with the days, I mean, that's the hardest part really. Because then once you know your topics for the days, go on Pinterest, go on, like I said, the Beachbody blogs, go and look up that topic. And then you're like, okay, well, here's this and taking, snippets from everywhere. And it doesn't have to be, all this extensive. It doesn't have to be super long. I mean, honestly, my hydration challenge posts were so short. It didn't matter. It didn't, people were so into it. It was not even about the content. They could have cared less about my posts with the content. It was just the fact that we were all in it together, drinking water, getting healthier, and had the same goals, and we're keeping each other accountable. So don't be afraid. Just go out there and try it. And like I said, you'll just be so much more confident going into it, and then you're going to have a whole pool of people, new people that you don't feel weird inviting, that you don't feel weird, having conversations with, and helping them change their lives. So that's it. Have an awesome night and post what you're going to do your challenge group for January. Feel free to do the vision board one or, whatever, think January, think, okay, think out of the box, what are people wanting to do from January? And it doesn't have to be fitness. It can be, while I'm thinking about it, there's a book, journal, maybe journaling, because that's what my gratitude challenge was all about. The 5-minute journal, if you write that down, I honestly got all my content from there too for my gratitude challenge. It's awesome. It's 5 minutes of journaling. So you just find these little things. I Am That Girl. Oh my God. I'm sure probably all of us have read that book by now. You know how much content I get from that book? Use it. Use all of that and repurpose it into a group of a free challenge. So that's it. All right. I'm going to stop rambling. Have a good night.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yep.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yep.